How do you know when you're witnessing the rise of a truly game-changing footballer? Not just a top-tier striker or a standout talent, but a kind of player who could redefine a position for a generation. The signs are usually unmistakable. Early buzz from youth academies, clips of audacious goals spreading like wildfire, and whispers of their name in transfer rumours long before they're ready for the big stage. You add to that a knack for delivering in clutch moments, physical abilities that defy logic, and a highlight reel that could double as a feature in a film, and you've got the makings of a player destined to dominate. The catch, well, we're often dreadful at spotting these once-in-a-lifetime stars. For every icon anointed as the next best thing who actually delivers, there are countless others who fade into obscurity. So what do you call a player who was scouted by Europe's elite as a teenager, held his own against League R defences at 19, and had Premier League giants circling years before he was ready to make the leap? Hugo Ekitike has carried sky-high expectations since his days at home, and his potential move to Liverpool feels like a defining moment in his ascent. Yet, even as the Reds prepare to secure his signature, some fans remain sceptical. Opinions on Ekitike range from him being the spearhead of a new era at Anfield, to fears he's just another overhyped prospect destined to underwhelm. And after years of transfer sagas and near misses with so-called generational talents, it's no surprise why fans are cautious about crowning him. Still though, others are convinced he's the real deal, which raises the question, what makes Ekitike the transformative striker some believe he is? And is Liverpool's pursuit truly worth the hype, or are fans just setting him up for the same fate as countless others who couldn't live up to the billing? To answer this, we're going to have to look at it all, delve deeper into the numbers, analyse some of his goals, and also look at where he would actually fit in at Liverpool. So let's get into it. Hugo Ekitike stands at 6'3", but he's also got winger-like dribbling ability. What that allows him to do is play as either as a target man, a lone forward by himself, or also as a facilitator, and we saw this fully on display last season for Frankfurt. First part of the season he was playing with Marmoush. Marmoush was the main guy, grabbing all the headlines, scoring the goals. Ekitike was scoring goals as well, but he was playing as that facilitator. He was playing off Marmoush. Whereas second half of the season, Marmoush joins, goes to City for 80 million euros. Ekitike is the guy up front. He's handed the reins. He's being told, you need to be the guy. And what does he do? He thrives. And that's all because of his skill set. Like, he can pretty much do it all. He's got that long, lanky frame, so he can act as a target man, but he also has the speed and powerful running that makes him a force in transition. And also with his footwork and feel for the game, this guy can almost be like a prime Firmino 1 minute. Next minute he's moving like, I don't know, a Haaland in transition. Like, he's a cheat code. As of right now though, I think his ball carrying and dribbling, especially in transition, I think that's his biggest quality. I think that's his biggest trait, because you look at someone of his size, his stature, they shouldn't be moving like how he moves. Like, the agility is crazy for a player of his size. We thought Gravenberch was crazy doing that at 6'2", the turns. Ekitike is 6'3", he's taller than Gravenberch, and he moves almost identical. And it's this silky dribbling and close control, but also paired with his athleticism, that made him such a force to be reckoned with in transition last season. You can see him drift in to find space to receive the ball, also penetrating, using his aggressive running to penetrate low blocks. You can see in this graphic that I'm showing you right now, he was 4th out of any player in Europe's top 4 leagues last season for goals and assists in transition. Only guys ahead of him were Mohamed Salah, Kylian Mbappe, his teammate at Frankfurt, Marmoush as well. Like, it just shows Ekitike, this guy in transition, I'm telling you, he is a threat. But as I mentioned before, his qualities aren't just limited to being just a transition player. This guy can open up low blocks with his close control, dribbling ability, imagination as well, his footballing IQ. And that's going to be so important for Liverpool next season, because we're the champions. Liverpool are the champions. They're going to have that champions respect next season. A lot of the teams that you're going to face, especially at Anfield, even sometimes away as well, you're going to come up against low blocks, tight spaces. Space is going to be at a premium. So you're going to need a player with close control, tight dribbling ability that can create something out of nothing, or can link up with another player who has similar attributes. Florian Wirtz as well. But what you can also expect is headed goals, because as I mentioned, against low blocks, space is going to be at a premium. And because teams are scared of getting exposed centrally, there's so many bodies in central areas, space is often funneled towards the wide area. But now when you've got the likes of Kirkes or Gakpo or Salah as well putting in crosses, you've actually got a threat. Because that's the thing, a lot of people think this guy is weak for some reason. He's got that skinny frame, and maybe that's what it is. But we've seen with someone like Isaac. Isaac last year, this guy was terrorising Arsenal centre-backs by himself. Gabriel and Saliba. I've never seen a player bully them like that. Mitrovic and back in the day, all these big guys, they couldn't do it. But skinny little Isaac, who you wouldn't think is the most physical player, he absolutely ran them ragged. And Ekitike, listen, I'm not going to say he's going to be dominating centre-backs left, right and centre, But boy, do not sleep on his strength. He's even said it himself.
I'm strong. People think I'm not strong, but I'm strong.
And that power and strength will be needed not just offensively, but defensively as well. In duels, Ekitike actually, when you look at the numbers, he's actually pretty impressive because he hasn't often been deployed in an aggressive pressing system. You look at PPDA, that's essentially like pass per defensive action. That's a stat where they use to measure the press of a team. Frankfurt were a very passive team. 14.8 was their PPDA last season. That was the what? Making them the 6th most passive team in the Bundesliga. This then gave him the opportunity to regain the ball high up the pitch, and then you're immediately in a position to score or create a chance. And this was literally actually one of the most fundamental principles of Jurgen Klopp's philosophy.
All I have to do until you bring a player, the number 10, if you want a playmaker in a position where he can make the decision for a genius pass or not. So you have to play a few passes, your channel balls, whatever, and the counter pressing makes it exactly the same. So you win the ball back in a high on the pitch, and you are close to the goal. So it's only one pass away from a really good opportunity most of the time.
Saying all that though, what I've described is basically like you guys are thinking Ekitike, I'm sitting here saying he's the perfect player or he's the finished article. He's not that. He's still a developing player. And one of the biggest areas for improvement is his finishing. It's not as bad as some have made out to be. Like, people are trying to compare it with Darwin Nunez's finishing. I'm just going to show you right now. It's nowhere near Darwin Nunez's finishing. Like, Darwin Nunez, we signed him off a purple patch year. Like, if you look at his underlying numbers from his first year at Benfica all the way to the 24-25 season, the season that just passed, this guy, every single year, all but one, he'd underperform. But then funnily enough, the year that he actually overperformed, which can now be seen as a freak year, that was the year we bought him off. Whereas you look at someone like Ekitike, it's almost like the complete opposite. Ekitike, I wouldn't say he's the best finisher. He's like an average finisher. You can see it by the numbers as well. When you look at non-penalty goals minus XG throughout his career, he's only slightly underperforming, 0.3. And in fact, a lot of that is down to his last season, which is by far, you can see, it's by far the worst underperformance of his career. Minus 5.3. But that's just 1 year. And what gives me confidence is that Liverpool are not a stupid club. Like Liverpool, these guys, they look at bigger numbers, or their data is more advanced than what I just showed you right now. Like Will Spearman, all these guys at the club, they know what they're doing. So if they're buying Ekitike off a down year or a year where he's underperformed his XG by that much, they're not like us where they're thinking, oh, this guy's underperformed, he must be a bad finisher. Like, they know these numbers don't really reflect the finishing ability that he has. So listen, all this Darwin Nunez stuff, I know people are mentally scarred from Darwin Nunez. He's caused a lot of trauma. But let's chill. He's not like Darwin Nunez. He's nothing like Darwin Nunez, because you look at the all-round game as well. Darwin Nunez was purely an outlet forward. He was like a Jamie Vardy type, like purely running off the last line, running channels or running in behind. He was not someone that was going to drop deep and link play. He was barely going to give you anything in that sense. Whereas you look at someone like Ekitike, he can drift that wide, he can dribble, he can take people out of the game through his dribbling and ball carrying. He can link up, as I said, in low block situations. He has the, close control and imagination to pull off flicks and tricks and find teammates in behind. What I'm saying is he can offer you a lot, even if he's not scoring. He is going to score goals, and I'm sure of that. Otherwise, we wouldn't be signing to play in the striker position. But he's also going to allow the others to score around him as well. Like, because of his on-the-ball work, because of his creativity, because of his link-up play, he's going to allow Salah, Gakpo, Wirtz to score more goals, along with the goals that he scores. Whereas you compare him to someone like Darwin Nunez, who was always the outlet forward. Guys were sacrificing their game to feed him chances, and he was still missing. Whereas Ekitike, cool, he might not be the clinicus finisher. I think he's a better finisher than Nunez, but cool, he might miss chances, but then it's going to be offset by him providing other guys to score goals, you know what I mean? Like guys like Mohamed Salah, who's our primary goal scorer. Then maybe in a couple years time, where Ekitike is a more polished footballer, he's maybe not 23, he's 25 years old, 26, then you're probably going to see a more accomplished guy, a guy who the whole attack is built around, when Mohamed Salah is gone. But as of right now, this is still Mohamed Salah's team. Don't be coming in and expecting him 30 goals straight away, because he is still a raw footballer. The guy's only played around 7,000 significant minutes in his career so far. By significant minutes, I essentially mean top flight leagues and their cups as well that come with it. European competitions are included as well. This guy's only played around 7,221 minutes. That's the equivalent of 80-90 minute games. He hasn't even got 190s in his career so far. For context, Kerkez, who Liverpool just signed, and is 2 years younger than Ekitike, he's 21 years old. He's played around 14,000 minutes. That's double Ekitike's minutes, and he's 2 years younger than him. This just shows how raw he is. And also, you look at someone at his age, Bukayo Saka, who started playing at Arsenal from a young age. This guy's played 20,000 minutes, and he's 23 years old, same age as Ekitike. This just shows how raw he is. But also, the ability that he has right now, how good he is right now, with how small amount of sample size, or how small amount of minutes that he's played in his career, He just shows this guy's got so much developing to do. And according to Athletics German correspondent Seb Stafford, Frankfurt actually believe what I just mentioned as well. Like, they actually believe that he's only scratched the surface of his talent, because one of the Frankfurt directors said that he's only shown 60% of what he's capable of. So for him to be this good with that developing or that room still to grow, it's exciting. So I mentioned his dribbling ability, what he can provide with a ball at his feet, his defensive work, his finishing ability as well, we touched on. But I need to mention his assists, because this guy is a top tier provider. Last year in the Bundesliga, he provided 8 assists. All those 8 assists were to different teammates. He didn't provide the same guy. He didn't assist the same guy twice. Like, this just shows a player who has his head up at all times, can find teammates in on goal, and it links to what I was mentioning. Like, he is also a provider. He's someone that can play with Mohamed Salah. And that's a key thing, because Salah mentioned in the interview towards the back end of the season, I think it was actually after the last game of the season, where he said that they were man-marking him at times, putting 2-3 players on him. But you cannot do that now when you've got the likes of Wirtz and Ekitike. This is why I'm so excited, and I keep reiterating this fact, because Ekitike is a player with his dribbling ability. He can take someone out of the game. So how are you going to put 2 players on Salah when you've got someone like Ekitike or even Wirtz that can do that? I dare you leave Ekitike, and they want to be in 1v1 situations. Like, cool, you can put 2 men on Salah. Ekitike, as soon as he 1v1 with a centre-back like Lewis Dunk or something, they're getting destroyed. So when teams figure that out, and they will, I'm telling you, early on in the season, that plan is going to go out the window, and Salah, he's going to get freed up again. The goal that Salah scored last year versus Brighton, we could be seeing that. Similar type of goals next season, because Wirtz and Ekitike, or at that point, it was Diaz and Jones linking up. Wirtz and Ekitike can do that. Little 1-2s, you know what I'm saying? Give the ball to Salah, and we know Salah, when he's facing a play, he's facing a guy 1v1 and not receiving the ball back to goal, there's not a lot of fullbacks in the world that can stop him from doing what he wants to do. And that's cutting him on the left foot and finishing into the top corner. It's interesting because after Liverpool were interested in Isak, a lot of people have looked at the Ekitike and Isak comparison. Of course, he's not got a track record of someone like Isak, who's done back-to-back 20-goal seasons in the Premier League. But it's the potential with Ekitike that you're really banking on, because in the underlying numbers, they look similar. And Ekitike, as I said, he's still raw. He still hasn't touched the surface of his potential. And in fact, the funny thing that I'll mention is Newcastle, cool, they were linked to Ekitike this summer, but their interest goes back a couple years. 2022, before this guy joined PSG, Newcastle were linked with him. In fact, if you actually look at the dates, they went for Ekitike before they actually went in for Isak. So listen, I don't know, they may well have gone for Isak later on the window anyway. But regardless, one thing you can say about Newcastle is we've seen with their signings in recent years, the likes of Tonali, etc., these guys know what they're doing when it comes to recruitment. So if both Liverpool, who are known for their recruitment, Michael Edwards, etc., and Newcastle are chasing you, add to that Luis Campos as well, a man who's famously known for building that Monaco team, just built this PSG team that won the Champions League as well. He also signed Ekitike to PSG. And cool, it didn't work out. I don't really blame Ekitike. There's no shame in not working out at PSG at that time. Like, let's be honest, he was never getting in that starting 11 when you got the likes of Mbappe, you had Neymar, and you had Messi. All these guys are all-timers. Like, how do you expect a 19-year-old, a fresh-faced 19-year-old to break ahead of that? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And him failing at PSG actually gives me more confidence, because you look at someone like Gravenberch, you can say he failed at Bayern, came to Liverpool, and look how well he's performing. Mohamed Salah, one of our greatest ever players, he failed at Chelsea. Kevin De Bruyne, one of the Premier League's greatest ever players, he failed at Chelsea as well. And I'm not saying Ekitike is guaranteed to do the same, but listen, if you can follow in those guys' footsteps, we will have a gem on our hands. But yeah, guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, smash the like button. It will be appreciated. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Turn on post notifications to be notified when I upload as well. Because listen, I'm telling you now, talk is cheap, innit? You guys are going to see the action. I wasn't consistent. The last post was 8 months ago. Like, that's shocking. But this year, I'm telling you, I'm going to be locked in. YouTube, we will be there. If you guys keep supporting like I know you guys do, I appreciate you guys so much. Big things, you know what I'm saying? We're going to be achieving big things, bro. Like, stay tuned.